Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, depending on where you are in the world. Today I'm going to talk about a little more about burnout because it seems to be something that is really concerning so many people. And there are some simple tricks and tips that may be useful to you and to people who you know who may be in this situation where they are about to get burnt out and you just want to give them a little bit of support. Now, last week I talked about what makes us burn out. I mean, we all know somebody who's had a burnout. Unfortunately, it seems to be the disease of the century. Well, it started last century for certain, and it's the disease of the modern times. So what can we do about this? Now, we saw last week, just to make a very short recap, we saw that burnout happens when we're expending lots of energy, and especially when it's very emotional. When there's a lot of emotions going on, for instance, when we help patients or we have a sick parent that we're helping, or we have lots of problems with our children who are suffering some illness or some disease, that stresses us a lot. So while we have a lot of energy that we are putting into things, but we don't actually feel that we have that energy because there are other things that are holding us up. There are other things that are somehow dragging us under. So that's when we're more at risk. And then we saw a few tips of how to help ourselves or how to help others who you see are drained in energy. And one of the tips that I gave was to connect socially with people. And I know it's a difficult ask if you are in the situation that you feel so low in energy, because the least you want to do is to expend even more energy trying to connect with others. So the point here is probably to get, while you are in a good state, while you aren't feeling that low in energy, connect. When you find that little bit of energy, connect. And if you see that somebody is withdrawn, just have a little chat. How's it going? Can I help you? And that concern does make a difference. That knowing to the person, if they see that you're really concerned about them, it does help. It helps to get out of their isolation. And today I wanted to talk about a little different aspect of it, because burnout doesn't happen overnight. It's really a whole bunch of little things that sum up to then end up with this great drain, and that we cannot get out of. And we don't want to go there. We don't want to go there, and we don't want anybody to go there, really. And that's the self-criticism that we have. We're often so self-critical. And if we were just like we are to friends, but to ourselves, then it would be very different. Unfortunately, very often we are very harsh on ourselves. And that self-critical mind really makes us drain more of the positive energy that we need to get things done. And so I wrote a little something on the board, so I didn't have to worry about writing. And so if we know about this, if we know that we're very self-critical, then we will experience emotional relief when we figure out that that's not the right way to go, and that we can let go of those thoughts that are so draining and that are really not useful. So like I told a client this week, a coaching client, I told her, just ask yourself, when you're thinking about thoughts that are not useful to you, or you're getting very critical of yourself, and maybe it starts by somebody else criticizing you, Or maybe it's you just saying, oh, I can't do this. I'm useless. Now, how useful is it to say I'm useless? Just ask yourself, and that was the question I asked her. Always ask, is this useful? What is this for? Is this helping me actually make progress towards what I really want? And as you probably realize, the answer is no. And when you realize this, then you'll finally experience like a relief, like the emotional relief of, okay, it doesn't have to be, I don't have to be perfect. Everything doesn't have to be perfect. And stopping that critical, self-critical mind is essential to build up that positive energy that we need to keep going. And as you can probably follow now, hopefully, you then don't have any grounds to become burnt out if you stop this. Because it's all coming from your mind. All coming from your mind. So, when does this happen? When does this self-talk, negative self-talk happen? That's when we don't really do as well as we expected. We say, I should have finished this by now. Oh, I should have gone and picked up the groceries, whatever it is. We always have the I should have. I should have finished this report by last Tuesday, and here we are, it's Wednesday, and I'm still going through it. Or maybe it was 2-3 days ago. So what we can do is break things down so we can achieve and make them realistic so that we actually can achieve them. Achieve what we set ourselves out to do. Instead of being critical, that's no use. It doesn't really help us forward. Try to figure out what you can do step by step by step, and then celebrate those steps as you achieve them, which is one of the things that I talked about last time. So if you can break down things into doable items, then it's more feasible that you can then take them off your list and then be more happy about yourself. And especially then also if you celebrate it, then you'll even be more happy. So these are ways to prevent burnout in yourself and the potentiality of yourself and other people, because these same techniques, you can also use these same techniques to help others that you see who are struggling. So now this is a little further up. Let's see if I can get it there. Okay, it's very simple. It's just a very simple circle. So you say, I want to do more. I want to get this done now. Right? And you don't. So you don't achieve. You don't achieve what you wanted, or you want to do even better. You want to do more. And what happens? You don't achieve. You've got lower energy. And then you keep saying to yourself, I want to do more. I want to do better. You can't achieve. Because you're already telling yourself you want to do more. You're not recognizing what you have done. You're only looking at, you're focusing on what you haven't done, on what you still need to do. So that gets you into that circle. And that vicious circle that can lead you to burnout if you don't stop that vicious circle. Let me read you something from this book, which I believe I already showed you last time, Feeling Good, The New Mood Therapy, from David Burns. One of the most destructive aspects of depression. Now, depression is one, well, if you're depressed, you have more chances of getting burnt out. Or you've got burnt out and that's why you're depressed. Okay, so that's why I'm reading something about depression as well. One of the most destructive aspects of depression is the way it paralyzes your willpower. In its mildest form, you may simply procrastinate about doing a few odious chores. As your lack of motivation intensifies, virtually any activity appears so difficult that you become overwhelmed by the urge to do nothing. Because you're so low in energy that you just decide it's easier not to do anything. Because you accomplish very little, you feel worse and worse. Not only do you cut yourself off from your normal sources of stimulation and pleasure, but your lack of productivity aggravates your self-hatred, resulting in further isolation and incapacitation. That's all I excuse me. That's all I want to share with you today, because I don't want to make this very long. Please give your comments and your experience, your thoughts, and let me know what you think about this and other further topics for other weeks. I will try to connect every week, or I find it more feasible every 2 weeks because of the nature of my work, which is very volatile. Thank you very much for watching, and talk to you soon. Bye.